Morning, you guys. So today I want to talk a little bit about meetings. Everybody talks a lot about the necessity of meetings and going to meetings and how important meetings are and yada, yada, yada. And I'm not knocking that at all. In early sobriety, it was hugely important that I get connected to a community. I spent a lot of time during the latter days of my addiction not understanding what was going on with me and thinking maybe I'm the only one who has this. And if I'm the only one who's broken in this way, maybe there's no solution to the problem. So going to rehab and then going to some meetings and trying to get comfortable around those people, which is a whole other talk, was incredibly necessary. But I still all the time hear people talk about how meeting makers make it. And it's super important to go to meetings. And I see people, and it seems like the entirety of their recovery plan is going to a lot of meetings and hanging on for all they're worth. Meetings are awesome. I still go a couple times a week. I go for two reasons these days. The first reason is because it's just kind of what I do. And I might be able to be useful to someone while I'm there. Maybe somebody in that meeting needs to hear my particular take on whatever it is we're talking about that day. And the other reason I go is because it's sort of a touchstone for me spiritually. When you get a bunch of people gathered together for an unselfish reason, over the course of that hour, the room sort of fills up as we all sort of channel this power together. And I get to feel what the room feels like, and then what I feel like inside. And if the two aren't the same, I'm the one who's moved and I've got some work to do. I mean, I've gotten up in the middle of meetings and left because I could not sit in the room full of people making that kind of racket, holding on to the way I was feeling and being all disconnected. I mean, people always say that, if you talk to somebody who relapses, they'll say they stop going to meetings. But if you ask them more questions, you'll discover that they hadn't done any actual step work in a long time, and they mostly just couldn't sit in that room and listen to those people talk about that shit anymore when they didn't have any connection of their own. Ultimately, for me, meetings are like halftime at a sporting event. At a football game, at a basketball game, the way it works is the team and the coach, they have a plan for how they're going to play the game, and they go out in the first half, and they bust their ass, and they do the best they can to execute their plan. Nothing ever goes according to plan. Then you go back to the locker room at halftime, and you catch your breath, but you also talk about what's working and what's not working out there in the game, so that when you go back out for the second half of the game, you can do a better job. Meetings are halftime, and the rest of the day is the game. And I don't think any of us got sober to stay in the locker room all the damn time. Run to the locker room and hold my breath, and then run out to the game and hold my breath and quick get back to the locker room. That's insanity. It does not lead to a big, cool life. So of course I want to go to meetings, but I want to hear from you what you're doing that's working and not working. And I want to talk about what I'm doing that's working and not working, so that when I head back out into my life, I can do a better job than I did before I went to the meeting. Just a tiny bit better is all that matters. If I want a big, cool life, I need to let you do some of the research for me. And I get to hear how you're doing with what you're trying, so that I can either do it myself or avoid it myself. Like I said, you got to find a meeting where you feel comfortable, where you look forward to seeing the people there, something in common with them beyond just trying to find recovery. But unless I'm working the rest of the steps, there's no way I get comfortable enough in my skin to enact the kind of change that needs to happen so I can start having a big, cool life. Go to meetings. Work the steps. Talk to you next time.